Candid Conversations. I'm Deidre Malone, President of the National Women's Political Caucus. One of my favorite people I'm going to have an opportunity to talk with today on Candid Conversations. So let me just say, Candid Conversations is NWPC's media platform to inform our members and supporters on the work we're doing nationally, at the state level, and locally. And in this episode of Candid Conversations, I have the president of the Missouri Women's Political Caucus, Teona McGhaw-Ward, with me. She is amazing. I've known Teona for years. Teona, welcome to Candid Conversations.
It is so nice to be here. It is so nice to be here, Madam President.
Oh, Madam President, I we have been friends a long time. And I remember when we first met, when we had our national convention in St. Louis. I met you then. And always has been an authentic person. What you see in Teona is what you get. She's real. She's an activist and she's an amazing leader. So, Teona, talk to me about what introduced you and who introduced you to the Missouri Women's Political Caucus? What made you want to get involved?
Well, Deidre, I got involved. I kept saying 10 years ago, but my my oldest, he don't mind reminding me where he was at in school when I got involved. And he's like, Mom, you've been involved way over 10 years. So I'm like, wow, okay. But till 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, I decided that I wanted to run for a state representative. And at that time, Senator Rita Days, who's a council woman in St. Louis County, was like, if you're going to run, you should be a part. She taught me two organizations. It was Black Leadership Roundtable and the
Mm.
National Women's Political Caucus. So I was like, the funny thing was like, oh yeah, I've already been in contact with them two organizations, but I hadn't. And I guess some kind of way she could look up the membership. And she looked up the membership. She was like, you're not a part of this. So I was like, I better kind of get into it and figure out what's up with this organization. So I joined. I think the first time I joined, she paid my membership,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I felt that it wasn't for me. I went into these rooms and there
What
weren't a
was
lot
it
of people
about
that
you didn't
looked.
like though, Tiana? What was it? What was it? Were the members at the time not friendly? Because sometimes it might take a minute, but it wasn't the mission, right? Because you really like the
It was
mission.
not the mission, and definitely I'll get into it later in the interview. But the organization has literally been the best thing that happened to me, Deidre. I was young. I had never been in many rooms where no one looked like me.
Yeah.
And I was just intimidated. And I thought, like, this room, there's a lot of money in this room.
Right,
I ain't got
right,
no money. I ain't got
right,
no
right.
money. What am I doing here? And so that's kind of how that went. I joined because of Councilwoman Rita Her Days.
Well, let me just say, I had the honor of attending your convention in Missouri, and the women that you had in that room, and with you being the state president and everybody's looking up to you and working with you on behalf of the mission, it was incredible to see, Madam President, and just the
Thank you.
elected officials that came through. And then what really touched my heart, two things, and we're going to talk about them a little bit more because I love the ambassadors, but the founders, for you to exactly, you better represent the founders of the Missouri Women's Political Caucus were there and you honored them. That was pretty
Nobody's
amazing.
ever told them thank you. Those ladies, they've been a blessing to me. They are the reason that I've grown and to understand as a Black woman, I belong at the table. I belong in any room. You would be surprised, but it is white women
Yeah.
that made me realize my worth in this organization. And so I wanted to make sure they knew that we wouldn't become be defeated by when Roe fell. We were the first
Right.
state to, and it was hard, and they felt like they had failed. They were sad. They felt like they had failed the new generation and all of that. So that was a moment, and thank you so much for coming to Missouri and coming to that our convention,
Yes.
because I knew you showing up was what we needed here to keep the fight going. Just to hear you say thank you, it started where that everybody's like, well, Kamala's running and she coming to Missouri. No, we're not a swing state. We're so red, Kamala wouldn't even be thinking about Missouri. And for you to know, I was like, well, what's my next bet? Like Deidre Malone was my next bet, and I knew you would come. And I
Oh,
knew wasn't nobody
absolutely.
gonna say you weren't gonna come because you
Right.
was a red state. And so that's why I really wanted you here. The Missouri needed that. We felt so defeated. We felt like somebody had took a bat and hit us in our stomach and knocked the wind out of us when Roe fell.
And same thing here in Tennessee. And I think, that's another way that we're kindred, right, Tiana?
Right,
Because
right.
we've had to really fight for women's rights. And we're continuing to fight. What's going on right now in your state? I know there's a referendum on the ballot. What's happening
Yeah.
with the referendum?
Right now, Missouri is looking at a total abortion ban, and we're trying to get workers paid for sick leave and the minimum wage. So, right now, we are asking for votes yes on A and yes on 3. And that's what, we want our rights back. As
Right.
women in Missouri, we want to be able to say what we want to do with our bodies. These legislators that we have in Missouri, these men that are in Jeff City, it's hard, Deidre. I have had to deal with men that are in the legislature making these decisions to where when I run into them one time, I was like, I have to go, I'll be late, or I'm going to get a pap smear. And literally they were like, what's that? So yeah, that tells you a little bit about like why are you sitting there, making these laws not about us without us, right? But they doing a
Right.
whole a bunch of things like without us and not even knowing what a pap smear was. That was like my epiphany moment to say, you know what, this makes no sense. It just makes no sense, and that's why I've had been having a little bit of knee trouble this year, but it has not uh defeated me. A lot of people are like, oh my God, Tiana, you still going? You doing all of this? How can I sit down? How can I not do it?
You can't.
It's not
You got
okay.
to.
It's not right. And I'm willing to just, hey, I can take care of myself after November 5th, but
Is
I've
it?
been
I think.
nonstop.
I think that's what the vice presidential candidate, Tim Walz, said. Maybe we can rest after November 5th. I think that was his comment.
And
Tim
then that's
said,
just taking a little bit of a break because
yeah,
here in Missouri, once it does pass, because it will pass on November 5th, that will not be the end, Deidre.
no, it won't.
That will
Absolutely
not be
won't.
the end. So what are we doing? We're losing a lot of good people because of term limits in the legislature. So what are we doing? We're looking at these new legislators that'll be coming in and getting them a toolkit through the Missouri Women's Political Caucus of, hey, this is how we need y'all to advocate for us there. At first, I was thinking like, they ran on our issues, and they know I'm not going to assume that we're losing Deb Lavender, Tracy McCreary's in the Senate,
Mm,
Jill Shoops turned out. These are ladies that taught me the ropes, taught me like, had the respect in
right.
Jeff City because you got to have the respect too. You can't just run, win, and think you're gonna go in there and everything gonna be magic. Like these ladies working across party aisles, getting things done. Like, and so in my mind, I'm like, how do we build back up what we need to continue at least having people up there that will be well respected so we could get some things done. 'Cause it's hard here in Missouri. It
Well,
is rough.
and that's the reason your caucus is working so hard to recruit and train women for the state house, right? For,
Yes,
for,
yes.
for the local city council and school board races. And
Mm-hmm.
you have a candidate for governor that's phenomenal, Crystal Quay. I
You got to meet
mean,
Crystal. You
oh
got
my
to meet
goodness.
Crystal. Crystal is the truth.
And I love the fact
Crystal's
that
the truth.
the convention, your caucus bought her a little jacket, a little swag. She was
Yes,
representing.
yes. That came
And
about because I was going to a few fundraisers. We have a gentleman running, Lucas Combs. He's running for US Senate. He's, a force. He's doing his thing. But Crystal and I was at a fundraiser, and there were a lot of fundraisers of our members that were having fundraisers for him to where I was like, Crystal, and we sitting at this event in Kansas City, and she's like, Tiana, the role is just not sexy enough. Running for governor is not sexy enough for people to be interested. And so it just was my little joke. It was actually a Christmas present. And I got me a jacket and I got her a jacket. And I was like, we're going to put these jackets on and we're going to make it sexy. That's why they kind of silver and they pop. And I was just thinking about the Renaissance tour that Beyonce had just went on and this and that. I was like, we going on a Missouri Women's Political Caucus Renaissance tour. So the fact that she wore that, brought that jacket to the convention, she know how to get me excited. I was so excited. And if you saw the video, I love the part where the video has her like even putting the jacket on the video for the convention because I'm serious about my little jacket. And I always like it when people like when I think about gifts and I give them to them. So, but
so,
Crystal, I can tell you that Crystal Quaid is ready to lead. She is from rural Missouri.
mm,
And what I like about that, so that means that she can mobilize the middle of the state. And
right.
so, with that being said, I have been really working on mobilizing, helping her in mobilizing the members too, with phone banks. We did a few phone banks with the Amendment 3 organization. And she was one thing that's interesting to me is, she really knows and gets it with working class people. So she gets
Yes.
me. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Somebody that
Yes.
gets it, her right hand assistant, that's a big deal to me too, is a black woman.
Mm,
Michelle is the bomb. And so Michelle's got her back. And I was just like, okay, she must be good if it's a black woman and she takes good care of her like she does. I was just like, I gotta get to know Crystal better. So Crystal's ready, crossing my fingers. It angers me so much when I hear people say, oh, well, she's not going to win. She's not going to win. We've looked up Missouri. These are people not even from Missouri talking about they
right.
looking at the numbers, they looking at this and that. And, it's like, there is no way that I will ever lead this state as a president and say that anyone can't do it because I've heard that so many times with myself.
Exactly. And the other thing too is, Tiana, they won't win if we don't get out and vote. But you've been mobilizing, the organization's been mobilizing, trying to get people out. And let me just say, and you know this because I was sitting next to you, when I heard Crystal speak, I pulled out my phone. I said, now, let me just make a donation,
I think
right?
you made a donation. I think it was like right now, right this moment.
She was speaking, and I was
I
like,
was
"Now," I said to you, I leaned over and said, "Tiana, what's her last name again? Let me just," and I did. I get her emails. I'm so impressed with her. So all of my friends and all of our members, let's work hard because I think she'd be a phenomenal governor.
and she's gonna need the support. Even after Crystal, either way it goes, Crystal's gonna be leading here in
Yes.
Missouri. She's a
Well,
leader. A lot of people rely on her. She's been the leader of the house. And that's hard. She went in there, she did what she did. Respect goes a long way, Deidre.
it does.
People win and can't do nothing. And, that's not what's going to happen here with Crystal. She
No.
got it. She got what it takes.
Well, you've got a number of women that you lead in Missouri. You have how many caucuses in Missouri, Tiana?
We have three. We had two, St. Louis and Kansas City. Capital Women's came back up, and let me tell you what happened with Capital Women's.
And I
When
love the
I
leader
became
for Capital Women's. I love them all, but
Ayana,
she's
that's
phenomenal.
Ayana, a Dr. Ayana Shivers. But what happened was when I became president 2 years ago, because you were there, and now this is my second term, which that's crazy. Because I was like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get in, and I'm gonna get out. Everybody like, no, you need to do a little bit more. So anyway, Capital Women's, the president of Capital Women, one, it was kind of difficult because there was like 10 to 15 members, but that chapter, this great soul, her name is Peggy, she just paid everybody's membership. She paid
Mm.
everybody's membership. They were members, this and that. And so at a certain point, Peggy's doing big things, this and that. She said, Tiana, I think we're gonna have to close the Capital Women's chapter. We're gonna just do away with it. There's no members coming, this and that. And I was like, Peggy, I respect the things that you're telling me. Thank you. I said, but one thing, let me come to the middle of the state for an event. If no one shows up, then you're right. Maybe we need to consider that. It was January, it was a snowstorm, and
Mm.
I'm kind of crazy. So I drove, you met Helena.
I
Ain't Helena the
Helena,
bomb?
Helena is the bomb, and
Helena
Laura.
is the
You've got incredible
bomb.com.
presidents. Incredible.
Look, I've had to like pride myself from just always leaning on Helena, and now I kind of spread it out through everybody else. But anybody, Helena works with me. She could finish my sentences, this and that. She jumped in the car too. She met me there. We had about 10 people show up in Capital Women in a snowstorm. That's
That's
the rest is history. That chapter just recently, shout out to National Foundation, got a grant. They up and going. They just held a Black Women Rock event, which has never been done in the middle of the state. Dr. Ayana Shivers led that, and it was a room full, and them candidates showed up too. And Crystal was there, gave an awesome speech. Nobody would ask the question at first, so I kicked the questions off. And then the room started, they got a little more comfortable. They wasn't used to, and then we had a room full of Black women too. They wasn't used
yeah.
to dope candidates showing up to talk to them. But you know what I told them? I said, you know what, Capital Women, we see you. The Missouri Women's Political Caucus, we see you. We're here. And we went there and it was an amazing event. And I hope it shows with the numbers. I think it will. But people learned a lot about candidates and they got to see, touch, and feel, right? Like at first it's like, we need your vote. We need your vote. Okay, but we ain't never meet none of these people. It was unprecedented that they got to talk. They was taking so many pictures at the end. I just left because I was like, look at this. This is beautiful. Little girls, 3 years old with chucks and pearls on. I sent you a picture with me. You would you don't look, me and you, we all by crying when we get into it was it was one of them moments where me and
Beautiful.
you we would have been, it was great. It was really
So,
good.
so Dr. Shivers is amazing. The morning that I left the convention, I went down for breakfast and she was sitting there. So my mom and my sister and I, we had the best conversation with her. She's amazing. She told us
Mhm.
her story. And then I remembered her, Tiana, from St. Louis. I think she was running for office then and was a part of a panel discussion because
Yep.
the current mayor of Ferguson was a part
Ella.
of that panel. I can't believe I remembered that.
Ella Jones. Yeah. So Ayana has been mayor of Mexico, a city in the middle of the state. So she was on the panel, that panel, you're correct. Just as a Black woman that was the mayor in that town was just like amazing. So
Amazing.
that you're right. That is a convention that I will never forget, Deidre, and I'm sure you know why.
I do. I do. And then Helena is wonderful. She's doing a good job. And then Laura, that's your Kansas City president, right?
Laura,
Laura,
yep.
she's profiled on the national website. She's our member spotlight.
Laura
Yes.
is a force to be working with. If I had to say things that I'm really, really proud of since I've become president, having Kansas City at their convention meant a lot to me. Having Kansas City, they were so excited when I became president, and they said, we can't wait to work with you.
That's
They have since
amazing.
put a message on social media because I think National has shared a little till or something that was like, "Congratulations, Teona, this and that." And when I saw that they they reshared and it said that, oh yeah, I followed up and I went there and go to the events and what I did when the ideal committee came about was because of two women that was from Kansas City, Rebecca
Yes.
Richardson and Regina Weir. And Regina had not been really involved recently because they just had their big torch dinner that they do there. And one
Hmm.
thing about it, like I never forget people and good people. So I called Regina. Regina actually came to their torch this year. I was happy to see her
Wonderful.
there. You got to see Rebecca, and
I
you know that
did. And it was funny
it's just
because,
like you belong here in Missouri, Deidre. You a part of it. This is like you family here. Like
oh, well, you all are family. So, Tiana, we're at the Cracker Barrel. We're driving into town. I have my NWPC t-shirt on, NWPC t-shirt on, and Rebecca's husband sees me, and then she comes over to the table. She said, "You going to the convention?" I said, "Yeah." She said,
like,
"Oh,
who are you?
and so it was so good to see her. So good to see her.
Yeah, it was good for me to just have. There was just certain things I wanted with that convention. I wanted a 50 year. You heard them. They've
Yes.
been a member of this organization that you lead nationally for 50 years. You needed to meet. It's
I
like
mean,
you need to
it was
meet.
so fulfilling, Tiana, to actually meet them. And then to kind of, because you brought each of them up when you honored them
Mhm.
individually, and to just kind of hear a little bit of their story, it is absolutely amazing. And as we transition, I got to talk about them young women that you've mobilized. And I'm wearing my bracelet, my Kamala bracelet
Wow, look
that
at
I
you.
that I
They
actually
sent
bought
that
when
to
I
there.
was
They
there.
told me, give this to Deidre. And I brought it to delivered it just like the Missouri Youth Ambassadors. Well, I joke with them all the time and I let them know, being around over 10 years, I've seen a lot. I've
Yes.
heard a lot. I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've heard on panels at our national that young people just don't want to be our person to teach us how to do the techie stuff. They want influence and power.
Right.
So you know what? When it was like, I tell them all the time, I'm the state president. So it's like I got the keys and I threw the keys behind me to them. Like, go, 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 ladies, do. And, they are going through a bit of a transition now because some of them have went back to school and some of
Mhm.
them are working on campaigns. Chloe was one of our founders and she's working on Eli Gross's campaign, doing a phenomenal job. Kathy is, I think, up in Wisconsin, or she's in college, but I see she's working the polling sites for Kamala's campaign and this and that.
Wonderful.
So, and they claim us. They claim I'm a ambassador. I'm a ambassador's like they are proud. And it just makes me happy to see that we have young women. You were there for their panel. You
Oh
was
yeah.
there for their panel.
Oh, Tiana, they were amazing. I mean, I'm sitting there like Precious follows me on Instagram. I follow her, and
Hmm.
just phenomenal. Just the level of
Camille is up
intellect.
and coming. I just tapped in, trying to tap into Camille to lead more statewide because she's really
Yes.
been like based out of St. Louis. But Camille's got what it takes. They did some interviews at the convention. Thank you to you all. You've been sharing our stuff and this and that. I want to put them girls on the highest platform that I can and let them be great. I tell them to, this is something where I tell them, look, if I'm here and I can be y'all state president, the sky's the limit for y'all. Because I don't come from where anybody would think that I would be a state president of the National Women's Political
First,
Caucus for
first of
Missouri.
all, first of all, you've earned the right. You are a trendsetter. You have such a kind heart, and that's how you lead. And people want to follow you, Teona, because you know how to bring people along. I mean, you're not a heavy hand. You're not like, this is how we're gonna do it. It's like you bring people along. And so that's just a testament to your leadership. And I can say that because I'm an
You've been
observer
around.
and I've
You've
been
been
in the
around.
room and I've seen you in action and I've seen how people interact with you. So,
It
you
could be a
know,
double-edged sword, though, Deidre. It could really be, I am, some people take it as bossy, but like I tell people, I'll never steer you wrong. I've
no,
got it wrong so many times. I've lost and been it just so many times to where you don't keep on losing and not be able to tell people how to do it right.
exactly. I
And
mean,
I
there's a
keep on
lesson,
to I keep saying, look, now you don't want to do that.
right?
Been there, done that. This if this is the route you're trying to go, let me give you a little bit of advice on that. And there are people. It's kind of like when I do something, I'll do it, and then it'd be all a lot of people. It'd be great, and I'd be like, okay, I'll never be able to do that again. But then it comes the next time, and then there's another pack room, or when we have a meeting. If our meeting's open, or I invite people, even with fundraising, like just I got some great, great people here in Missouri that are candidates. I call them.
Yeah,
And after the election, my first term, I called everybody that was unsuccessful, and I was like, that's how Dr. Ayana Shivers is in the organization, because she was the one that was telling me about the middle of the state and how people so focused on St. Louis and Kansas City and the money for candidates to raise in St. Louis and Kansas City. And I was just like, I took all of that. And it was like, hey, y'all endorsed us. You sent us a check. We didn't even know what to do with the check.
mm,
And I was like, wow. So that's why now we have a handbook, we have a tool. Hey, this is what you do when you file. This is the MEC. This is how you open your bank account. Like we have just mapped it out to really, I don't want to not be a resource to people. What I have learned from Donna, who is your successor, and you, is we are the National Women's Political Caucus.
exactly.
And I say it all the time, that is a big deal.
Yes, it's an absolute big deal. Well, you're doing amazing work. And I love the Missouri caucus. But let me ask you this now. What you think about this president's race? How do you think Missouri's gonna to go with? I'm very proud of the fact that we were one of the first organizations to endorse Vice President Kamala Harris. I really do like her choice for Vice President, Tim
Him
Walz.
too. I
I
like him too.
mean, real down to earth. I think he's just like exactly they complement each other, Teona. So
Yeah, they do.
what do you think? What do you think our chances are of getting her to that White House?
What I do think is the time is right because we have Amendment 3
Yeah,
and we've got lines here. And early voting is going really, really well.
good.
At first I was kind of a little worried because it would be like maybe like St. Charles, they had lines or this and that. But they're in like North County and like all around. And women, it's like women are like, hold up, nah, I'm going to the polls. So I'm optimistic. I think
I
it
am
may
too.
be a year to where, because of the way things have lined up with Amendment 3 and women wanting to say, stay out of our uterus,
Right?
that's just going to trickle on up to Kamala. And I would love to hear that Kamala carried this state. It
Yeah,
would be like really like the underdog. Kamala is the underdog
she is.
in this state. And but when I'm seeing what's happening in other states, I'm just like, okay, Missouri, like, and I just want to see it just to like have the people that just didn't have no faith in Missouri or saying this is why people don't, national people don't come to Missouri. And that hurts. That hurts my feelings because I'm like, sometimes you need that energy just to show people, hey, I'm looking, I care, I see you. Just like when I went to, the Capitol Women's, you sometimes you have to show up. You just
Right.
gotta show up. So I think that Kamala, I'm looking at all the lines. I'm looking at all the young people. We've got the ambassador
So
program.
excited.
We really gearing behind young people. So I'm looking at all of them. I am hoping after we claim this race on November 5th that all of a sudden we get a fluctuation of just young people coming in as Missouri back. Yeah, yes. They looking forward to they already national. Y'all need to keep up. Because my people in Missouri are like, where's the convention? Where's it at? How much is it? I'm like, first of all, can we get to November 5th, guys? Let us get
Well,
to November 5th. Let Deidre, she see y'all. You know, when this new board I have, I'm sure you're aware that there were some things even within the organization that we really needed as far as non-binary. The
right,
question, the thing that comes up. So when I first became state president, the I was missing like black women in leadership. And even like I say, I was the only black woman on the state board for a long time. So we got the black women now. I'm more like I ain't gonna keep like harping over something. When we get what we need, it's time to
right.
move into a different section. So Kate Lauder ran to be our VP of diversity at the convention. And I remember like, she's white. And I remember
Mhm.
somebody like, Teona, she's white. I'm like, I know. But Kate is her pronouns are they, and Kate gets it. Kate Lauder is one of the smartest women or non-bro, however she knows I'm trying my best to get the pronoun. I ain't gonna lie
We're
to you.
learning.
It
We're learning.
is it's hard.
Learning.
But it's easy dealing with Kate because she's okay, Tiana, in training and has talked to your Kate. And I tease him, I'm like, I got me a Kate. I got me a Kate. Like, it's because your Kate is amazing.
My Kate is amazing.
Exclamation,
My Kate, my
exclamation, exclamation.
Kristen, amazing.
Kate is amazing. So now Missouri's looking forward to coming. Missouri is looking forward to having a a seat at the table as far as the planning for the national convention. We're looking forward to helping with some workshops, with some education on,
Yeah.
the non-binary issue. Like, where are we with this? How are we gonna become, because it's a new day. And
Yeah.
I'm just happy that you are the national president at this time because I feel like you are the right person. You think outside the box. You optimistic to things. You like ideals that may not be things that we used to do because we up against a lot of organizations right now that they giving us a run for our money.
You're right,
They
Tiana.
giving they giving us a run for, and if we don't take certain people and we act certain way, then they gonna go elsewhere,
You're
and
right.
we don't
And
want that.
to your point, I'm so excited that you need, because as the president of Missouri, you're on the national board too. So I'm so thankful that you and the other board members gave us the opportunity to do a new website, to make a move to a new location, just to give us some of the autonomy we need to make some of these moves to position our organization where we can compete with some of the other women's organizations that have been around not as long as we have. We've just
Right,
been, you know, we have just not been as aggressive as we could be. And I think we're getting there now. So I want you to know how much I appreciate you and I still have a picture of you fanning with your Deidre Malone fan at the convention last time. So you know how much I love you. But
I had my
anyway,
mind made up coming to that convention who I was behind. So I'm just so happy that you are leading. I love that you have on the shirt that has my great great. Now that's what's weird to me is the fact that my great great aunt is Fannie Lou Hamer, and she was a
yes.
founder of this organization. When you talk about getting goosebumps, when you talk about getting goosebumps, that is really the moment where I felt like I was meant to be in this role.
Oh,
When
Teona.
I figured out the connection there, and I had been spinning my wheels and just didn't know why. I had been showing up for this organization, left, said I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. Retta came back, said, hey, come back. This is the best thing that'll ever happen to you. And when I say that Councilwoman Days is very, very smart. The National Women's Political Caucus is how I developed professionally. It's gave me some lifelong friends, and it is the best thing that have ever happened to me. It was what I needed to grow and to grow
Well,
to sometimes you gotta turn the corner. Sometimes you in the lifestyle or as they say, you in the trenches with
yes,
and you do it, and so I can do this. And I tell
absolutely.
people all the time, like, if I can do this, anybody can.
Well, let me just say, your great great aunt was phenomenal. And I was at the Democratic convention, and it was a delegation standing behind me. Gail Jones Carson we were standing together, and it was funny because I was talking to Gail this morning, and I told her, I said, I'm interviewing Teona, and Teona was you at the Missouri convention. So we were laughing. But anyway, standing behind me was a group from Mississippi, and they had on t shirts from the Fannie Lou Hamer organization. So I turned around and I said, wow, I love this t shirt. I said, my organization is the National Women's Political Caucus. Fannie Lou Hamer is one of our founders. And their eyes got big and they said, can we take a picture with you? And we're going to give you one of our t shirts. I have one, Teona. I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna
Should
take a
have brought
picture
it
and send it to.
so you could have shown me up.
I was like, and I did know, and I did say, I said, one of our members is related to Fannie Lee. I did Fannie Lou Hamer. I sure did. I told him the whole
Mhm.
story. So out of Mississippi. So it was so great. But before we wrap up, I just want to remind people that the Missouri Women's Political Caucus, if there's anybody in Missouri that wants to be a member, Teona, what do they need to do?
They need to go to MoWPC.org and they can click on any chapter that we have from there and they can see a little bit about what we do. The website after November 5th, we have Allison Riley, who is a great communications person. All that you saw with the QR codes and all that, because we got a QR code where we'll hear, Allison. So she'll be redesigning the website after November the 5th. So we just trying to get to November the 5th right now.
But
But
it's beautiful. I was on the website today. The website is beautiful.
that's how you join. But I also, before we close, Madam President, I want to let you know about some of Crystal's good, but I'm excited about a few other races here
Yeah,
in
tell
Missouri.
me about those races. Absolutely.
I'm excited about we have Barbara Pfeiffer that is
Okay.
running for Secretary of State. And I looked first when Barbara was running, I was like, and she's a pastor and this and that. But Barbara is on fire. Barbara is a force to be reckoned with. I am so excited. I'm so excited that Barbara's running and Barbara will do a great job in that role. I'm also excited about Stephanie Hines is up for reelection. Tara Ora, she's disabled, so I have a disability too. So
Yes.
I am, and I was let me just say I'm above the knee amputee because a lot of times when I say I have a disability, I've had so many people, wow, how? What's wrong with you? And all this stuff. You don't
Right.
look like you're and I'm like, you're supposed to look like when you disabled. So I just want to say that, I'm above the knee amputee, but Tara Ara, Jen Tracy, Shauna Ackerson is in Joplin. She's running a very, very aggressive campaign. And that seat, after she's running, it's going to term out after this. So I'm just like, hey, do your thing down there. I just got back from down there to support, and that's 4 hours away from me. But I wanted to show up because one with Shauna lost her husband during this campaign
I
in
met
July.
her.
Yeah.
I met her at the
Shauna
convention.
lost her husband, and then a few weeks later lost her mom. And
Oh my
Shauna
goodness.
shows up. The fact that she came to the convention, and then she came to St. Louis. Then she met me in Kansas City. I was like, you know what? And I'm gonna get, like I say, on this bad knee and get down here, and I'm gonna show up for Shauna. So I did that.
Yes.
Betsy Fogel, and then there's a lady named Rebecca Jensen. We have a lot of seats. We have a lot of women running in this state. And you just feel like when you're in this role, I'm sure you feel the same way. I want everybody to win.
Yes.
And we are gonna win. No matter how it go, we gonna win. Because the type of leader that I am, when I see these women and they are the bomb, I'm calling you. I'm bringing
Right.
you into the fold. Let's what you good at? We're going on a retreat. I take the first time I was my first time we went on a retreat. Shout out to Peggy. She has a home in Lake St. Louis off the lake. She
Mhm.
invites us there. So we're going there in December. And we're really at this point now that we're working together as a state, doing all that. We're gonna we've got our strategic plan from national that we've overlooked, and we're gonna do a strategic plan for Missouri. And then we're just gonna get to know each other. Because what I've learned from being around for 10 years, sometimes you can't get nothing done because the people that's all on the board, they don't even like working together.
Right. Team building
So,
is important, Tiana. Team building is so important.
so I'm like, we gonna just go down here and just spend the night on the lake, chill. I'm gonna have our board meeting, and that'll be virtually optional too for some that can't make it. But I feel like my first 2 years, we got so connected because we really got to know each other at that retreat, and we're about to do it again. And I'm watching these candidates and how things are going to go on November 5th, and I'm prepared to appoint some, bring them in. We're looking to grow the ambassador program with some young people. There's a young lady named Mackenzie. She's working real hard. She don't even know I'm shouting her out because I've been watching from afar. But she's doing some great work in Columbia. I'll be coming to talk to her and just seeing how can we bring great people in because y'all need us statewide, national need us. So the stronger we are,
Absolutely.
the stronger you all are. So
Absolutely. And
that's
let
what
me
I'm looking at.
say good luck to all of those candidates that you gave a shout out to in Missouri. We're just praying that they're successful in their races. And want to mention that at the national level, we've endorsed more than 120 women for office who are aligned with our agenda. You know, we're a multi-partisan organization. You can be Democrat, Independent, Republican. We don't care as long as you believe that women should have autonomy over their own body. We welcome you, right?
I've
And
been looking
so,
hard for that, Republican that believes in our value. And we did
yes,
have a Republican running here, but she didn't get through the primary. But, if there are any Republicans that believe a
yes,
woman has a right to choose and you are in
that's right.
Missouri, please contact me. Please email me from my website. Like I said, MoWPC.org, because I want to talk to you. I want to
Yes,
meet you.
bring
Like
them in,
I would
Tiana.
love to have a nonpartisan forum with all people that care about the same things that we care about, our issues. I would love that.
Well, I just thankful that we could do our candid conversation with you today.
This
I've been
was
waiting on this
fun.
one. I've been
This
waiting
was
on this one,
fun.
Tiana. I have. And so I just want our members to know and our supporters to know that you can find us on our YouTube channel and also our Vice President of training, Chelsea Byers, has put us on Spotify. So if you're a
Oh,
podcaster, you can look for us and listen to our conversation on Spotify. So we're excited about that. So Teona,
Chelsea's my
thank you.
girl.
Thank you so much for being a part of this candid
Thank
conversation. And
you.
you know you can come back anytime. I love Missouri, want to know what's happening in Missouri. And I
You
look
should
forward
do
to
the ambassadors. You should do a candid
that.
conversation. Yeah,
I
you
will
should
do
get them
that.
on her so the world can see. I'm like, you ladies. I'm like, do you? Like, do you? And they
I,
definitely do. So I think that would be a cool little episode to
you
get
know,
them
I
on here.
promise you, I'm going to get them on. I did recommend them too for a diversity training because I learned so much from them. I told our national VP of diversity, you need to talk to the folks in Missouri and have a national training from the ambassador. So,
They
I mean,
ready.
those young ladies are phenomenal.
They ready. I told him, I said, I wish I was on the same thing I was on when I was your age. It was like I was, it took a little bit for me to get it together, but hey, here we are.
Here
So
we are, Madam President. So Teona, thank you so much. Keep doing
thank
all
you.
that great work
Thank
in
you. Thank you.
Missouri and
Thank you
asking
for your
everybody.
support. You can't be a president and succeed without good support from your national. There are many organizations here in Missouri that don't have no kind of relationship. And also before we part, shout out to just the national presidents. Texas sent out an email, Elena, to help us phone bank and call
Yes,
like, hey, so at the annual meeting, we decided we're not working in silos anymore. We even stay while we stronger together, even as we stretch out across, so
I
making phone
love that.
calls. Tennessee, Washington, they just have really, really, I feel like in Missouri, we about to have a moment, and everybody in all states that have been helping Missouri, they all should be proud.
Oh, well,
November 5th, here we come.
look, come on, come on, come on. All right, Tiana, thank you so
All
much.
right.
And thank you, everybody, for watching Candid Conversations. I'm Deidre Malone, president of the National Women's Political Caucus, and I've been talking to Teona McGhaw-Ward. Madam President, thank you, and I'll see you next time.
See you next time.